જય જિનેન્દ્ર, પ્રણામ. Good evening, everyone. અને અમારા બધા તરફથી તમને નૂતન વર્ષના અભિનંદન. Thank you so much for joining us again today for the Oshwal Wellbeing and Lifestyle webinar. This is our 12th webinar, and I'd like to introduce Jayesh Pai now to recite the Navkar mantra, and then we will start today's webinar. Thank you.
Om Namo Arihantanam. Om Namo Siddhanam. Om Namo Ayariyanam. Om Namo Uvajjayanam. Om Namo Lo Esabvasahunam. Eso Panchanamukaro. Sabbapavapanasano. Mangalanam cha Sabbeshim. Padhamam Havai Mangalam. Arhanto Bhagavanta Indra Mahita. Siddhascha Siddhi Sthita. Acharya Jina Shasano Natikara. Pujya Upadhyayaka. Trisiddhanta Supathika Munivara. Ratnatraya Radhika. Panchaite Parameshtina Pratidinam. Kurvantu vo Mangalam. Kurvantu vo Mangalam. Oshwal Association of the UK તરફથી આપ સૌને પ્રણામ. આપ સર્વનું આરોગ્ય સુખાકારી સારી રહે અને ખૂબ સારા કાર્ય કરવાની શક્તિ દેવ ગુરુ અને ધર્મ પસાએ પ્રાપ્ત થાય એ જ પરમાત્માના ચરણમાં વંદના અને પ્રાર્થના.
Thank you, Jayesh Pai. The session today is all about yoga, exercise, and the importance of good nutrition in our lives. Up until now, we have examined these in some of our sessions as part of those sessions, but today the whole session is dedicated to this subject. There has been a theme running through our webinars up until now about the importance of exercise and a good diet. But today we will be hearing much more about that from Sailesh Malde. And we also have two testimonials of Hitesh Pai and my wife Nipa Ben, who have done some of what Sailesh Pai is going to talk to us about today. And they will tell us about the benefits that they have found and how that has helped them to change their life. But before we hear from Sailesh Pai today, I wanted to welcome Tushar Pai, and he is going to give us a warm welcome this evening and also talk about a little bit about the session. So, Tushar Pai.
Jai Jinendra Badao, and Nutan Varash Abhinandan Badaonem. I hope you all had a fantastic Diwali and a Happy New Year to all of you. Yeah. To add to what Profula Ben said, yes, very, very important. Apne judi topics super past webinars kira che. But the practice of doing regular exercises, yoga, is equally as important to all the other treatments that we may be having for other illnesses in our bodies. Yeah. So without taking out too much of your time today, Sailesh Malde is a professional yoga and Pilates coach, and he'll be talking about the importance of this exercise in our daily lives and nutrition, having a healthy and balanced diet, and managing many common health conditions and how to lose weight safely. So Sailesh Pai, over to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Tushar Bhai. So I just wanted to share a couple of things about Sailesh Bhai before we start the session. So he's registered with the Chartered Institute of for the Management of Sports and Physical Activity. He regularly takes yoga sessions and teaches yoga and exercise privately and also for our organization. He is a well-known speaker about nutrition and the value of good nutrition to our life and the importance of it, particularly in managing some of our common health conditions, such as diabetes, and particularly talking about the foods that we perhaps ought to have more of a emphasis on as vegetarians and vegans, which majority of people in our community are. And so Sailesh Bhai will today talk to us about some of these, how to apply it in our daily lives. There's going to be some hints and tips for all of us to follow, because I don't know about you, but actually I have never believed in dieting. I don't as a principle, and I think it is all about actually a balance of everything that is good for us and balancing that daily. Exercise is a bit of a no-no for me. I do it, but then I kind of fall off the schedule. So for me, I think I'm looking forward to Sailesh by giving us some tips about how to overcome those barriers when we reach those, when we've plateaued and we can't do any more. And I think the topic is one where આજે આપણે ઘણી બધી વાતો સાંભળશું પણ બધા માટે આ same નહીં હોય, because we are all different, our body's metabolism is different, so dieting, exercise, nutrition, it will be different for all of us in different contexts. So what you hear is not individually prescribed, and please તમે તમારી કોઈ medications લેતા હો કે બધું તમે કરતા હો to continue doing that, but we are going to be talking about how to include a balanced diet, nutritionally balanced diet, and exercise in our everyday life. So without further ado, I'm going to go over to Sailesh Bhai so he can start his presentation today. Thank you, Sailesh Bhai, for joining us.
Thank you, Jai Jinendra, and good evening to everybody. Thank you very much for taking the time this evening to join us. So my presentation, as Prafulla Ben has said, is a holistic approach to healthcare. Yes, I focus on exercise, but I do touch on nutrition. What you'll hear today is really just a glimpse of the sort of things we should be doing. We really need to understand and take guidance from experts to help us through the early stages of our process. The contents I'll be covering today is a little bit about me. We are what we eat. It's a statement you've probably heard before, but I'll explain what that means, some of the benefits of exercise and barriers of exercise. An example Prafulla Ben mentioned is, I just don't have enough time, falls off the agenda. I'll talk about how to set goals. The term used technically is SMART goals. And I'll finish up with top 10 tips and ideas that we can put into use in our daily life. Okay, so a little bit about me. Before 2008, I never really exercised. Long days in the office, starting very early, 6 a.m., finishing anytime between 6 and 10 p.m. I had a major car accident in 2008 that resulted in whiplash injury. That meant I became, lazy is not the word, but sedentary lifestyle. Very, very quickly, I gained a lot of weight. I was obese. Obesity basically is indicated by a BMI of over 30. And one day my daughter said to me, "Dad, you're breathing heavily." So you could hear my breathing. That means my heart and lungs were struggling. Also, as part of the whiplash injury, the consultants recommended that I have neck surgery. I have a compression in my neck, and they also suggested knee surgery. I refused to do surgery, and I took it upon myself to start practicing yoga, Pilates, and I started going to the gym. So I've been going to the gym since around 2010. This led me to becoming a yoga teacher, a Pilates coach, and also a personal trainer. I happen to specialize in managing weight, obesity, and diabetes, and I give guidance on nutrition. I'm not a dietitian, so I can only guide people into the type of things you should be doing. I have volunteered for organizations like British Heart Foundation, Macmillan. I was the first responder for London Ambulance Service. This gave me first-hand experience of people and the health issues they face due to their lifestyle. So the statement, we are what we eat. Our body is essentially made up of little cells, atoms, cells, fibers, tissues, organs. It's 200 different types of cells in our body. Now these cells, at the bottom here is an atom. These need to be fed. If we feed our body with junk food, then our body will reflect that, mostly in the waistline. You can have inner fat and external fat of the body. But if you eat a nutritious diet, then our bodies will receive the right vitamins and minerals that we need. Another way of looking at our body is what we call a metabolic machinery. On the right here, you see a person. The waistline is not to be desired, but the internal workings of the system, the clots, the organs, the heart, the lungs, the kidneys, the liver, they've rusted. Why are they rusted? Because they've eaten food that is processed, very little exercise, possibly smoking, alcohol. And so that is not a perfectly functioning body. Here we have a body that is functioning, a well-oiled machine. And that's called metabolic machinery. It's how you digest your food, how your body works. So let's look at this. Let's look at you as a machine. Your machine needs fuel. Now, fuel is known as micronutrients. They're provided by three sources: proteins, fats, and carbohydrates. The key thing about this picture is that we can gain proteins from a vegan or vegetarian diet. And you can see the picture shows examples of protein. Nuts are rich in protein. Even milk is rich in protein. Fats, you can have good fats and bad fats. We need to avoid saturated fats. And carbohydrates, again, mug is a very good example. Good carbohydrate, also good protein. So those are our micronutrients. Sorry, that should say macronutrients, actually. Micronutrients are from fruit and veg. They are the best source of vitamins and minerals. When we're eating, one of the things we should remember is the Ayurvedic practice of you should only fill your stomach up by about a third with food, a third with liquid, and leave the other third empty. It aids digestion. The key message, Prafula had mentioned it, is a balanced diet will avoid the need for supplements. If you eat in the right proportions, if you exercise, if you move about throughout the day, you will not need supplements for vitamins and minerals. What is a balanced diet? I'm giving you an NHS definition here from what's known as the Eat Well Guide. 50% of your plate should be carbs, 20% protein, and 30% fat. Now, that's a balance that's been prescribed by NHS. My view is if you eat the right foods and if you don't overeat, then the sums will take care of themselves. There is another program. If a person is obese, you can go through a fat loss program. That changes the proportions. 45% protein, less carbs, as you can see, and 30% fat. Particular program, please don't study this slide, it is complicated, but the key message here is there's a program called intermittent fasting. Intermittent fasting is a way of managing an exercise routine, a diet routine. In this program, it's over a 16-week period. There is a lot of preparation involved in starting this program. So you need somebody to guide you, somebody who's qualified to guide you through the process, and then work with you through the 16 weeks on the program. Okay, fitness. We've talked about fitness. I've talked about a holistic approach. Fitness is just not exercise. It's actually your mindset. Are you motivated to work? Diet and nutrition. Diet actually implies you're doing something special. If you eat a balanced diet, if you eat the right foods and you learn to eat the right foods, that becomes your daily diet, that becomes your nutrition. We're largely going to talk about exercise today. Sleep is a very important part of fitness as well. So let's look at the pillars of exercise. Again, quite a holistic approach here. If I start with cardiovascular, this is about your heart and lung function. You achieve that by walking, running, swimming, those sort of things. The key is get your heart rate up. We need flexibility in our body, flexibility of our muscles. We need stability so we can balance, especially as we get older. Yoga and Pilates are a wonderful tool to achieve that. Mindfulness in breathing, very good for breathing. I'll give you a small demonstration of breathing today. And yoga actually helps. If you look at yoga holistically, yoga is a way of life, it does help with mindfulness and breathing. Part of this is also chanting, and I'll give you a very brief example of the benefits of chanting. Strength training is important. Now, strength doesn't mean you need to be lifting 100 kilograms. Even if you're lifting 2 or 3 kilograms, it's a bottle of water. 1 liter bottle of water is enough on each hand. And that would give you the ability to build your strength. I think it's important to remember that every individual is different. What works for me, what works for you may be different. So we don't need to look at what others do. We need to work at what's right for us and work through that. So people often ask me, why should I do Pilates? Why should I do gym? What's the difference? And these are really the headlines of it. Yoga has the benefit of flexibility of the body and improves your energy flow. Pranayama is an excellent example of balancing your energy, but it also helps reducing stress, improving sleep, increasing mindfulness. It can help reduce blood pressure, improve lung function, and also balance your body. We'll shortly do one balancing breathing exercise. Both Pilates and yoga are excellent for posture control. In both of those exercises, we look for precision in how to do things. Are your shoulders open? Is your chest open? Those sort of things. Sometimes if you exercise on your own, you could easily find that you're doing more harm because your posture is not correct. And then you end up with back pain or shoulder pain. There's 2 types of gym workouts. One is cardio, that gets your heart rate and lung function working. We call that a pulse raiser. The idea of that is to get your heart beating, get your blood circulating, removing toxins from your body. Strength training is about bone density. And it's an example of what can avoid osteoporosis. Very complicated chart. I'll just give you the key messages here. This particular chart shows we've got nadis, energy channels in our body. On the right, on the left, we've got chakras. There's three main chakras here. The one in the middle is Shushma Nadi, Pingla, and Idya Nadi. Now, one of the breaths that we use to balance our chakras, balance our energy, is known as Anulom Vilom, or alternate nostril breathing. I'm just going to stop sharing for a moment, and I'll demonstrate how we do Anulom Vilom breathing. I suspect a lot of you know this because a lot in our community, Pranayama is actually quite well used. So to start with, put 2 fingers on your forehead. This is the third eye. Block your right nose and take an inhale on your left nostril. After your inhale, block the left nostril and breathe out through the right. Inhale on the right. Block the right and exhale on the left. Block the left. Sorry, inhale on the left. Exhale on the right. Inhale on the right. And so you continue this cycle. Just restart sharing. So far the tech is working. So the key is consistency in any exercises that we do, including breathing. If you do Anulom Vilom, I'd recommend starting with the yogic breath, which is a 3-part breath. But Anulom Vilom is very powerful. Try and do that at least once or twice a day, 5 to 10 minutes a day, and you will begin to see the calming effects of that. Next slide is also a little bit complicated, so please don't try to read it. Sanskrit is a very powerful language, and the words in Sanskrit are actually having vibrational impact on the energy channels that we saw on the previous slide. So as an example, if you look at Gayatri Mantra, Om Bhu Bhuva Swaha Tat Savitar Varenyam, what you see is if you're pronouncing the words deeply and properly, you're impacting different parts of your body: eyes, throat, chest, abdomen, arms. So chanting's been around for several thousand years. Mantra chanting, Sanskrit chanting, Vedic chanting, they are very beneficial for healing our body. That was the only message there. What are the benefits of exercise and good nutrition? Notice I use the word exercise and nutrition. You really just can't do one without the other. It can help reduce weight loss. One of my clients weighed 70 kg. We went through a 2-month program of mug diet. And within 2 months, that client went from 70 kg to 57 kg. Controlled, well-balanced nutritious diet. It can reduce your blood pressure. I had high blood pressure. I was on 10 milligrams amlodipine. It took 2 years, but I don't take any medication at all now. And I'm on the wrong side of 60s. It can reduce the risk of heart disease, particularly important for cardio exercises and good nutrition. And I'll talk briefly about that. It can better help control our cholesterol. Again, high cholesterol is a cause of heart failure and heart attacks and strokes. Better control your sugar levels. So again, helps with diabetes. reduces pain, joint pain and back pain. As an example, increases your self-confidence, reduces the risk of falls. It makes you feel energetic, makes you feel a lot better. And hopefully Hitesh will mention that because he's told me so many times, I feel a new man. It can save money on doctor's bills, although we have the NHS. In the UK, sometimes if you need emergency treatment, you may have to go private. Also, it'll help control medical conditions. In my case, it was high blood pressure, can help control diabetes, thyroid, cardiovascular diseases, and it can also help reduce medication. I've come off medications altogether. There are barriers to exercising. You may say, well, it's really boring, it's not for me. I heard that said this morning, on this call earlier. I really find it hard to find the time. It just causes too much pain and discomfort. It's just too tired to exercise after a long day in the office or with the kids. I don't have anyone to exercise with, so I get bored. I'm too old to start now. I didn't start exercising until my mid-40s. In your experience, exercise is just not worth the effort. I've tried and tried, but just cannot stay with the exercise program. So the way we overcome these barriers is a life coach, a personal trainer would speak to the individual, understand the barriers, and proactively work with the client, and each client is different, on how we overcome the barriers. So we pick on activities that are fun, they're enjoyable, they're rewarding. So it may be running in the park, maybe running with the dog, it may be playing football, five-a-side football, group walking. So it's enjoyable, it's fun, you work with friends and family. You modify your environment to make exercise as convenient as possible. You build a plan that's doable. It's what we call SMART. I'll explain what SMART is in the next slide. We pay attention to the benefits that we get. So these are the plus things, and you will see those, and I'll explain briefly how long it takes. It's really important to work with friends and family. I find working in the gym and doing yoga or exercise in the gym, working with friends is really motivating. If you've never done it before, you can start with a personal trainer or professional coach. It actually doesn't need to cost you anything. There is a GP referral scheme, and a GP can refer you to a local gym, and they will manage a program for you. I talked about mindset earlier. We need to fight back against self-defeating thoughts. Very brief word on SMART. What does it stand for? And I'll give you a specific example. Specific means it's well defined. I'll walk for 5 minutes a day. I'll walk for 10 minutes a day. So whatever your capabilities, even if you're walking up and down the stairs 3 times. So in this example, I'm going to say, I'm going to do some squats. I want to measure it. So I need to assess if I'm achieving it. So maybe I say I'm going to do 10 squats. Is it achievable? So I'm going to start with 1 and slowly build up to 10. Is it realistic? I will know myself if it's realistic just by trying. If I'm targeting too high, I lower my expectation. But the key is I keep building up. Is it time bound? Very, very clear deadlines. So you're working to a plan. So in this example, I say within 4 weeks, I'll be aimed to do 100 squats a day. I know people who are doing 1 or 2 squats, 10 squats a day. I know those same people can knock off 100 squats at the same time in one go now. So you can build it up. It's taken those people less than a year to do. Just a very brief, as it's diabetes, World Diabetes Week, a very brief statement on things it can do for type 2 diabetics. Do come on Saturday at the ECTA Center. We're running a full day event on managing diabetes. It helps lower blood sugar level, increases your insulin sensitivity. It can reverse symptoms of diabetes, and you hear a case study on that on Saturday, and can reduce or eliminate the need for medication. Okay, this is actually quite an important slide. Consistency, stick with it, is important. It can take 4 weeks for you to begin to see change, 6 to 8 weeks to see visible difference, which takes permanent effect. It becomes business as usual for you. You just want to get up and go. Within 3 months, your friends and family will begin to see a difference. Make it part of your daily routine. Use an expert if you need to. Go through the GP to do a referral if you find paying for an expert is too much. Some useful tips. So I talked about bone density and why we should do some weight work, weight-bearing work. What happens to our body is we keep growing, our bone density keeps growing till about the age of 25. And then we see a decline of that. So our growth declines, our bone density declines, our muscle density declines. So we begin to lose muscle, we begin to lose bone density. Now, the idea of strength training is to try and slow down that reduction. As we come to 50s, especially for women, once they go into menopause, you get a further degradation because of reduction in estrogen levels. So the whole idea of strength training is to slow down the reduction of our bone density and muscle mass. A really important thing to do, even if we start very, very small. 2 bottled water, 1 liter water bottles is enough. This is a really important slide. It's actually quite technical, but I'm going to give you the essence of it. When we go to the gym, we do a good workout for an hour or so, and then we go home and stuff ourselves and we say, well, I've done my exercise. Well, science tells us that's not enough. You're only burning 20 to 30% of your calorie intake. So you're only expending 20 to 30% of your energy. We need about 10% energy for food, for digestion. 60 to 70% of our energy expenditure is actually our day-to-day activity. Walking to the bus stop, picking the kids up, walking to the station, getting a stop earlier on your bus and walking to work or school. So the key is keep moving. Don't sit down for hours at a time. Just keep moving. Go to the garden, go to your friends. Keep moving. Some examples of keeping active. It has to be fun. Start small, work up, set yourself some smart goals, make exercise part of your daily routine. Keep moving. So if you're working in an office with escalators, try and use the stairs to go up. If you want to come down on the escalator, you can, but I encourage you to certainly go up on the stairs. Find somebody to work with. Do a variety of exercises that you enjoy. Anything that you enjoy, whether it's swimming, walking, whatever you fancy. If you're walking, keep increasing your pace. It's not a stroll. We want your heart rate to go up. Set yourself reminders so you can see them. They're right staring in front of you. So you know you have to do it. Keep an eye on your progress, regular health, and do regular health checks. Even if you simply measure your weight, your blood pressure, that will give you an indication of your health. Reward yourself when you achieve your goals. How much exercise should we do? The nice guidelines are 150 minutes a week for cardio. Personally, I would, in time, double it. Keep increasing your heart rate. 2 weight-bearing exercises, sessions a week, and do a step-by-step approach. Go slow, build up. Please don't, if you're not used to exercising, please don't go and do 150 minutes straight away. Work on strength and flexibility. We've talked about the type of things you can do. And the strength element will help with osteoporosis, as will nutrition. Staying fit. It's really important for us to go outdoors for a walk, 30 to 60 minute walk, build it up slowly. Outdoor walks in the fresh air, in the woods, will really, really help oxygenate your body. It'll improve your oxygen flow. Take deep breaths. Indoor exercises, yoga, Pilates, and weight works. Avoid snacks during the day. It's so easy to grab a snack. Try and match your intake to what you expend. If you're eating around 2,000 to 3,000 calories a day, the standard intake should be around 2,000 to 2,500. Try and burn that much as well, so you manage a balance in weight. Stick to same sleeping patterns. Work with your friends and family. I do that every day of the week. Keep active, keep busy, don't get bored. A couple of slides on assessing your risk. You can understand your height and weight, and this will give you an indication of whether you're overweight or obese or you're in a healthy weight range. So just take your weight either in kilograms and take your height, plot across, and you'll know. This chart is available on the internet in abundance. Another important one for obesity measurement is your waist measurement. So if you look at, I'll take women actually. We always talk about men, don't we? A healthy waistline is 31.5 inches. A high risk one is 34.5. But for South Asian women, it's actually 31.5. So because we are more prone to diabetes, British Heart Foundation have reduced our scales. BMI, body mass index, is simply height and weight measure. It's weight over height, weight divided by height squared. If you take your weight, do your height, work out the figure. As long as you're under 25, you're in the healthy zone. If you're under 18.5 BMI index, you're underweight. So that's a very good indication to assess your risk. Very easy to do. People talk about glycemic index. Foods come in high glycemic index and low glycemic index. High glycemic index foods are one that raise your blood sugar level very quickly. Within 30 minutes, your blood sugar really hikes up to a peak and begins to fall. Coke is a good example of this, Coca-Cola, Pepsi-Cola. And then in an hour or so, you need some more drink. So it's like smoking, alcohol, you get addicted. Low glycemic index food increase the blood sugar very slowly, and therefore you'll need to eat again to get that sugar hype is much longer, 2, 3, 4 hours. Examples of high glycemic index and low glycemic index foods. There's tons of this material available on the internet. This is exactly the same slide, but it gives you the range. GI range, glycemic of 55 or less is low, medium, and high. I'm going to finish with my top 10 tips. Maintain, this is a recap of a lot of things I've said. Maintain a healthy weight and shape. and know your measurements. What is your waist? What is your weight? Keep active, 210 minutes. That's the 150 minutes plus the 2 strength sessions. Get a good night's sleep. Keep consistency with your sleeping times. Reduce fat, salt, and sugar intake. Learn to read food labels. You know, they're traffic light coded. Learn to read them. Take 5. There is some controversy on this, but it's still the NHS advice. 5 portions of seasonal fruit and vegetables daily. I've used the word alkalizing vegetables, not too acidic. Drink plenty of water. NHS guideline is 6 to 8 liters, 6 to 8 cups of water, glasses of water. Get sufficient omega-3 inside you. This is good fat. Chia seeds and flax seeds are a good source of that. For non-vegetarians, that would be things like fish. Plenty of rich fiber in whole foods. And to aid digestion and keep your body warm inside, do use spices. They prove to be very beneficial in Gujarati cooking, Indian cooking. A big killer, whether it's cancer or cardio issues, is smoking, drugs, and alcohol. Moderate or reduce or stop. It's just you're feeding yourself with poison. Avoid or minimize processed and packaged foods, as well as additives, artificial colors and flavors. Eat fresh, eat organic where possible. Limit caffeine and fizzy drinks. Avoid storing cooked food in plastic containers. They emit toxins. Reduce your stress, get a better work-life balance. I talked about mindfulness, chanting, breathing. Those are all helpful tools. It's amazing that within our culture, Asian culture, there are so many natural remedies that you can take and take a health check. Once you're 40, you're entitled to a free health check. Thank you very much for listening to the talk. I hope you enjoyed it. Prafula Ben, over to you.
Thank you very much, Sailesh Bhai, for that really comprehensive presentation and taking us through some of the important things about exercise and about a nutritionally balanced diet. આપણે હવે સાંભળવાના છે હિતેશભાઈ અને નીપાબેનને. એ બંને આવી રીતે આ એક્સરસાઇઝ અને આ બેલેન્સ ડાયટ ફોલો કર્યું છે અને હવે આપણે સમજાવશે કે એમને કેવી રીતે કર્યું અને એના બેનિફિટ્સ શું છે એમના માટે. શૈલેષભાઈ ઘણી બધી વાત કરી જેનું સમરી પછી આપણે એન્ડમાં લઈએ છીએ. તમારા કોઈ ક્વેશ્ચન્સ હોય તો પ્લીઝ એ ક્વેશ્ચન્સ તમે યુટ્યુબના ચેટમાં મૂકી શકો છો યા તો અમારું જે ઈમેલ બોક્સ છે એમાં પણ મોકલી શકો છો. ઘણી બધી વાતો જે શૈલેષભાઈ કહી એ એકચ્યુઅલી અવેલેબલ ઇન્ફોર્મેશન છે NHSની વેબસાઇટમાં અને તમારા GP થ્રુ પણ મળી શકે છે. પણ મેબી તમારા કોઈ સ્પેસિફિક ક્વેશ્ચન હશે about exercise and કેવી રીતે exercise regularly આપણે maintain કરી શકીએ. તો પ્લીઝ એ questions તમે chatમાં લખજો YouTube પર અને આપણું panel endમાં એ questions answer કરશે. So I'm going to now go to Hitesh Bhai and Nipaben Raval, who are going to talk to us about their experience and how this has helped them. Welcome to our session, Hitesh Bhai and Nipaben. And please share with us your lived experience. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
My name is Hitesh, my wife Nipa. You just heard Sailesh Bhai give a very good talk of nutrition and exercise. And I would have to say that we are the beneficiary of his guidance. And I cannot emphasize to you more that exercise is relevant, especially yoga. Let me give you a couple of examples. In my younger days, I was playing lots of sports. I'm a very sporty person. I used to play football, I used to play tennis, squash, badminton. I was doing all this swimming, I was doing all these exercises. And then obviously I met my lovely wife and had children, so things started to de-escalate slightly, and I was doing not much exercise. I put on weight, and I wasn't feeling lethargic, wasn't feeling very happy. And so I decided to join the gym. I joined the gym, and I was just going there, exercising. Like I see so many people doing it now. They go there, they're doing all the machinery, and they're really going crazy. I'll be honest with you, that's the word I can use, crazy. Then I met Sailesh Bhai, and meeting Sailesh Bhai, it helped me in so many ways. He was able to show me how to use the machinery. He was able to guide me about diet, what to eat. We would talk generally about I had a back problem. I wasn't standing still. My posture was bad. And then just getting to know him, I had my wife involved, and she started coming to the gym, and she also met Sailesh Bhai, and from there a friendship formed. And I didn't know at the time that Sailesh Bhai was a yoga teacher, and by meeting him, we started doing all the exercises and activities in a group. I think it's about 5-7 of us.
Yeah.
And again, like I say, exercise is one thing which helps you with your cardio, your physique, loss of weight, but yoga has to fit in with it, because with yoga you become more flexible. As you get older, I found that I was getting stiff. I couldn't move very well. I couldn't do some things. I was aching. My body was aching. But by doing yoga, I was able to balance that. I was able to be more flexible. My mind was more alert. I was able to sleep very well, as Sailesh Bhai mentioned. Breathing was much better. And I just feel that I was being born again, because obviously when you're young, you're doing all these activities, you don't feel anything. But as you get older, you start feeling the aches and the pains. But when I combine the two together, the exercise in the gym as well as the with the yoga, it just made me a totally different person. And to this very day, I'll be honest with you, I have to say that I have a proper routine in the morning where I exercise, I stretch my body, I do all the things that I've learned with Sailesh Bhai. I put that into practice every single morning, and I'm much better for that, because I'm going to be 60 soon, and I just look at some people who are my age who are not able to do as what I can do, and I think I can only put it down to all the things that I'm doing in the morning with the help of Sailesh Bhai. What do you think, Nipa?
Yeah, I definitely echo Hitesh on this. When I started, Hitesh started first, and I was refusing to go to the gym, and it wasn't for me. And I joined the gym. Like Hitesh said, it's not about I used to go there and do a few things and come back. But since we met Sailesh Bhai, he was really encouraging us, and yoga really helped us a lot alongside, the gym session. And also, I had a high cholesterol. And since I started yoga, that was about 3 years now. Yes. And the gym, my cholesterol is completely gone down, and the doctor was going to put me on cholesterol tablet, which I refused. So yeah, that really helped. And I felt it that I wasn't losing weight, but I've lost lots of inches on my waist. And myself, I work for NHS as well. And when I see the population, especially our Asian community, Asian population, the diabetic is so high, and I was pre-diabetic as well. And that really, obviously make me think. And I said, no, this is not right. And you know what? Food-wise, we reduced quite a lot, less carbs and more green vegetables, and we reduce completely our carbs and all that. Like Hitesh said, when you get older, everything start affecting us, basically. So, no, definitely, it really benefited me by going to the gym, doing yoga, and more importantly is, see what you eat, what your portions.
What you eat is what you are.
Yeah, your portions and all that. And eat as much as you can during the day, but with the small portion, it really helped me. And I was losing hair, a lot of hair, and I thought, oh my God, what's going on with me? But you know what? This completely changed my life, and my hair becoming more thicker. And yeah, definitely. And thank you for Sailesh for encouraging us to, be there and coming.
It's a great motivator.
It's a great motivator, definitely.
But yoga, I would say yoga, if you're looking to exercise, you can do walking. I would say I normally do about 45 minutes walking a day if I can manage it with my time schedule. But I make sure that I do 1 hour of yoga every morning before I go to the gym, and then I do work on the cardio with Sailesh Bhai. But at the same time, me and Nipa have come to a conclusion that we will drink a lot more water, because I'll be honest with you, if you don't drink as much water as you exercise, it will not benefit you, dehydrate you. So when you exercise, please do drink a lot of water and keep a bottle with you all the time during the day, and at least 2 liters a day. 2 liters a day, I would say. But Sailesh Bhai will explain more about that. He's more qualified to explain that. But all we can say about our exercising, it will definitely benefit you. We recommend it very, very highly. As you get older, I would say you will need it, because, as you know, people are living much, much longer these days. And the earlier you start exercising, doing yoga, you will benefit in the long term.
And obviously the food intake.
Thank you, Hitesh Bhai and Nipa Ben, for sharing those experiences with us. What is the one thing that you have changed in your life that has benefited you? Do you think you could maybe share that with us? And I was going to also ask you a question about, you said your work in the gym. So how did you manage during the lockdown last year, when obviously the gyms were not open? And how did you overcome that challenge?
It was hard. It was really hard. But then what we did, we went to the park every day, and we make sure we did our 30-minute exercise every day.
You would run in the park?
Run in the park.
Walk in the park.
Obviously, we couldn't do it more than that because we didn't have no weights or anything else. But yeah, we make sure that we did 30 minutes exercise every day. And
we would exercise at home, because we know the teaching from Sailesh Bhai, we use that technique at home. And thank God I got Nipa with me, so we're able to help each other. Yeah. But you can also do it by yourself. But when you've got company, it's much easier. But you could be motivated to and disciplined as well. So that's very important. And one thing that you asked me, what's benefited me, I would say what's benefited me from this exercise of yoga and the gym is it's been reborn again, as I said earlier. I feel lighter, I feel happier, I feel calmer, I feel like I've been reborn. I'll be honest with you. It's just a funny thing to say, but it is like that because you've been going through the mill of getting married, having children, paying the mortgage, blah 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 blah. It runs you down, and all these things have now gone. And I'm like, I'm alive again. I want to do things. I want to see the world. I've got so much energy, and I think this is all down to the things that we've done at the gym and with yoga as well.
Brilliant. Thank you for sharing that with us. And it is so inspirational, I'm sure, for a lot of people. Ghani wakhat apne itli badi excuses kariye ke mane aa nathi karu because mane no time nathi, mane aa karu che but I can't do it because mane koi motivate karwa waru nathi. So that 2 tips that you just gave people, always do it with someone else, so you can kind of help each other. And Hitesh Bhai, you said you feel like a new man, which is a great thing with lots of energy. So what I'm going to do now is introduce our question and answer session. So please do stay with us. And we have already got quite a lot of questions. There's Tusharbai. So Tusharbai and I will facilitate the Q&A between us, rotating the questions to the panel. And interestingly, I think a lot of people's kind of questions are all around maybe some of their own specific issues. But actually, I'm going to start us off today. Because I was saying earlier that I am that person that Sailesh was talking about earlier. Omara પાસે time nathi. So actually that is a genuine thing. It isn't I'm using it as an excuse, right? I do say I make time for myself every day, ardhi kalak. So ardhi kalak ma Sailesh હું શું કરી શકું? What can I do in that 30 minutes?
Okay. So it depends. Artikalak is a really good start to begin with. So what I would suggest you do to start with is do some very simple stretches. I won't call it yoga or Pilates. Stretch. That's what Hitesh does every morning. Stretch your body to increase your flexibility. So for example, can you touch your toes? So fold over and touch your toes. If you can't touch your toes, then you can say, right, that's my goal. I'm going to keep working on stretching myself until I can do that. We can all do pranayama facing forward, but can you do it backwards as well? So work on things, stretching your body, and then begin to exercise. I would recommend a 30-minute walk a day. Pace, how long it takes you, and how far you go in that 30 minutes. So let's assume you've done 3 kilometers in 30 minutes or 2 kilometers, it doesn't matter. Over a period of time, week by week, day, month by month, I'd want to see around a 10% improvement every month. So if you've done 3 kilometers this month, 3.3 next month, and you know what, in 12 months, you'll be doing 4 to 5 kilometers in the same time. So just keep building it, walk faster. And once you're happy with that walking, start walking up a hill. So gentle slopes, and that will get your legs working.
Great, thank you for that great advice. I'm going to try it. I do go for a walk, but not the full 30 minutes. So I will try that. Tushar Bhai, got a question?
Oh, thank you, Prafula Ben. So Prafula Ben, you're not alone. I'm in the same club as you. Yeah. Sailesh Bhai touched on a topic. He gave, I think, 7, 8, 9 different excuses why people don't exercise. But I think he was being very modest. When Sailesh Bhai lagse, to he will have 10,000 different lines of different excuses that people can give. And I'm one of them as well, being honest. Yeah, we all become lazy. And from my point of view, yes, that laziness comes in. It's that motivation to say, I want to do this. That's the tough part for most people. Yeah. Yes, I do. I mean, sometimes even I feel lazy and I do it. But I tell you the best exercise that I find, okay, savana thoda stretching karna ko 5-10 minutes. But I always find the best walk that I get is at 6 o'clock, 6:30 in the morning. Jare kai traffic na hoy rasta upar, because after 9 o'clock, the pollution from the car builds up, fumes hoy badu. By early morning, all that has settled down and all you're doing is breathing in fresh air. And after that walk, I actually do feel 100 times better than I would staying at home, definitely. But again, is that sometimes that laziness comes in. Yeah, and we have to all overcome that laziness. And yes, being honest, I am lazy at times. Fine. It happens to all of us. And it's the determination to make sure that we overcome that laziness. Bija to 1000 excuses are said, but we must overcome them. Right, so Hitesh Bhai, Nipa Ben, congratulations, what you've achieved, fantastic. And of course, Nipa Ben touched on it, even she felt a bit lazy initially, kya jao mare gym ma. But eventually she was motivated because Hitesh Bhai was going. And that's also the second important part. Sometimes doing all of this on your own is tough. But when you got company or you go out into a community center, Ekta Center, Oshwal Center, wherever else you go, and you do yoga or exercise in a group, you're actually motivated by other people around you. And that makes a lot of difference. I've seen it when I've joined certain times in these sessions, I can do it a lot better than me being at home on my own. Yeah. So that's very, very important to join these classes going forward. Yeah. So I'm going to raise a question that's been raised on YouTube here. Some products contain hormones and not suitable for us. What are your thoughts about these products? For example, cow's milk.
Okay. I have a particular view on milk.
Yeah.
So I'll share my view. And there's a lot of scientific evidence to say that. We used to drink organic milk. If you go back 50 years, 100 years, the cows were well fed, the grass was organic, and that milk we said was good for us. Now what we do is we feed our cows in a factory, essentially. So we fast feed them, we give them hormones. Those hormones produce milk faster. And it's all about a commercial world. We want more milk, more for less. So now when we drink that milk, what's happening to us, if we have cancer, everybody has cancer cells in their body. But if we've got an active cancer, and we are now feeding that with hormones, growth hormones, we're actually growing those cancer cells. So my advice, firstly, I'd say talk to a dietitian and your GP, but try organic vegetable milks. We drink very, very, very little milk, only for tea. So it's a dropful. So if you have oat milk, I actually drink pea milk because it's high in protein, peas made out of yellow peas. Hazelnut, almond, you can get a lot of vegetable milks. They give you more calcium, they give you the same protein, they give you vitamin D, vitamin B, B12. So try an alternative, it is better for your health. If you Google the benefits of cows versus vegetable, make an informed decision, but I've switched 99% to vegetable milk.
So thank you, Sailesh Bhai. Very important point that you brought up. It's not just milk. Aje apne badha bhoga laiye, fruit laiye. You know, we are getting apples in the middle of December, January, and the season is March to August. What is happening is obviously all this fruit is being stored in a cold storage with some form of chemicals applied to it to prolong its life. Yeah. So a lot of the foods apne laye che is processed chemicals ketla na khelai che ji apne desh mane, India mane, Kenya mane, Uganda ne, East Africa ji apne fresh fruit ne maltu tu is a luxury today, I call it. Yeah. Maleche, it's not ke nothing maltu maleche, you have to go looking for it. So it's important ke we eat as less processed foods as possible. It's in today's lifestyle, it is impossible. But it's still doable as long as they minimize that. What you're talking about is minimizing it. Yeah. Mara potana ghare, to give you an example, my wife is a vegan. Yeah. One day she said, there's no more milk in the house. You have to go to black tea. And I switched over to black tea. And however, I find it quite heavy on my stomach. And I actually enjoy black tea now. Yeah. So that's just addition to what you were just saying about making sure that we eat fresh organic food, yeah, and less processed food as possible, because all we're doing at the end of the day is pumping chemicals into our body. Yeah,
that's right.
And that's not what our bodies were designed for.
Yeah.
So, Prafulabin.
So we have a question from somebody who's been watching us from the start. It's very difficult to control one's weight if diagnosed with thyroid, which is underactive and affects the metabolism. Are there any diets or foods which can help to control the metabolism? Also, are there any herbal remedies for this? I think, Sailesh, I'm going to come to you with that one.
Yes. Okay. So firstly, underactive thyroid does create weight increase. So what I've actually had, I've got a case study where I had a lady with underactive thyroid. She only weighed 45 kg. Sorry, underactive, overactive. And so what we did was we did a series of exercises that exercise the thyroid. So fish pose, bridge, and so forth. So what you're doing is you're beginning to regulate your thyroid using exercises. So there are a specific set of exercises that I have a program for both overactive and underactive that a person can do. The second thing is our body is a natural healer. If we eat the right foods, good quantity of vitamins and minerals, our body can self-heal over time. But you have to consistently do those exercises that work your thyroid, consistently do the other exercise things we've talked about, and start on a wholesome diet of fruits and vegetables, which may naturally heal you. There's no guarantees, but it can only make it better. Whilst you're experimenting with all of this, please stick to your medication. So you only you only change your medication with the advice of your GP. But there are things that you can do to reduce medication. I gave the example of blood pressure. I can give you other examples of people who reduce their metformin intake for diabetes, type 2 diabetics. But that is through exercise and nutritious diet. Your body can self-heal. It's an amazing, our body is just simply amazing. So it can.
And I know that Nipa Ben earlier referred to her cholesterol level, and that's basically reducing through exercise. So thank you very much for that. Tushar Bhai?
Okay, so there's a question. Is there any special pranayama or any other exercises for Crohn's disease and ulcerative colitis?
I haven't, if I'm honest, I haven't had a student with those conditions. So I would need to research it. I would certainly, on the nutrition part, I would say a vitamin-rich, mineral-rich diet, a wholesome diet. But from the exercise perspective, if the person can message me, I'll certainly take a little time to look into it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. So I've got one. Is swimming a good overall exercise?
It's excellent exercise because it's buoyancy. So you're not damaging your joints, but you're getting your cardio. You can do front stroke, front crawl, whatever postures you do, you're actually moving your arms, so you're working your joints. It is a very good cardio exercise.
And Hitesh Bhai, I saw you nodding there. So is that something you've been doing?
Yes, before COVID, I was a regular swimmer, and I started swimming when I joined the gym and met Sailesh Bhai 2018. And I used to go for a swim, then go to the gym, and vice versa. And what I noticed was there were people of senior age to mine, who I think I would say by 82, 85, I met all these senior citizens, and they were able to swim lengths more than I could. And I was about maybe 10, 20 years younger than them. And I was so embarrassed I could not do it. So swimming is definitely one of the best things you can do. It works all your muscles. It's definitely good for your cardio. I could do a length. It was like a Olympic size swimming pool. I could do one length and I was out of breath. I was just amazed. And I see the senior citizens going up and down. You know, they're doing the little slow strokes and they're going up and down, up and down. They're about 10, 20 strokes. They were never even tired. When they got out the water, they were not even breathing heavily. I was going, and they were like really calm. Honestly, best thing ever. If you can swim, please do it, 100%.
No, thank you.
Thank you. And thank you for sharing that, Hitesh Bhai. So I'm assuming you were able to eventually do more than that one length. Because, and I'll share something with you actually. In my younger days, in my 20s actually, I worked in Mayfair in the city, in central London. And before going to work, every morning I used to go swimming. And, it was one of the best things that I used to do in the morning. Really makes you feel fantastic. And then I changed my job, and the job moved to the city of London, and the swimming pool was too far away for me to be able to do both. And I guess that was an excuse that I used to stop. But, I absolutely recommend swimming as well, really.
I think people should make more time. I'll be honest with you. You can make excuses all day long, which I used to do before. But once you have a routine, and like for the last couple of days, I've not been to the gym because Nipa had a back problem. And I'll be honest with you, it's like I totally miss it. It's just it's like something's missing from my life.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Thank you. Tushar Bhai?
Okay, so Sailesh Bhai, if we are all on a good diet, eating the 5 aspects what you explained about, yeah, healthy vegetables, fruit, reasonable carbohydrates, proteins, etc. Would you still recommend taking vitamins with minerals, or can our normal foods have all these vitamins and minerals that our body needs?
Our normal foods should have everything we need.
Yeah.
Especially if 50% of our plate is greens, vegetables. So it should have everything we need. There should be no need for supplements.
Okay. No, thank you.
Yeah. There's one thing I'll add it's not related to this question. When you're in your late 60s, 70s, 80s, let's say 60s and 70s, that's the time you'll have grandchildren, maybe even great-grandchildren. And if you want to, I do, if you really want to enjoy yourself in the garden, playing with them, piggy in the middle, for example, then you need to be active and strong into your older age. 60s and 70s and even early 80s is not old these days. We have a guy who comes to the gym every morning. He does 20,000 steps a day. Those two know who I'm referring to. Every morning, he'll do an hour in the gym cardio and a few weights. He's 84 years old. We had a guy who came to the gym. He was a doctor. The couple was in their 90s. He took him with their walking stick, but he dropped into the pool and he did some lengths every morning. So it's never too late. Please do it. Start small, build it up.
Thank you. So before I give it over to Prafulaban, Hitesh Bhai touched on it. Then swimming Jatata, there was 80-year-old people who were better in him, who were not out of breath at swimming. So just Sailesh Bhai touched on the subject. Our weekend is World Diabetes Day. Yeah, and we are very proud that Brent Council approached us to organize a Diabetes Day. We are organizing it on this coming Saturday, the 13th, 10 vaga સુધી. Please come and join us at Ekta Center. There'll be a lot of professionals. Sailesh Bhai is also talking there. And not just talking, he's going to be showing you some exercises. And Jem Hitesh Bhai kidu ke there was a 80-year-old person better than him. Amara group this group that has been organized is in the process of organizing this day's event. We've got a young lady, as I call it, much older than me, probably 10, 15 years older than me, but younger than me in her in her steps and her movements. And I tell you, she's also going to be doing some exercise and showing us what to do at her age. Yeah, I'm not going to give her age away, but she's a lot older than me. But I tell you, she looks 20 years younger than me. Yeah, her name's Diana. So, Sailesh Bhai hase. So please do come and join us. And Jim Sailesh bhai kidu, Hitesh bhai kidu, yes, exercise actually helps you with all sorts of ailments in your body, whether it's diabetes, blood pressure, cholesterol, you name it. You know, it helps all aspects of your body. So very, very important that we all exercise. Yeah. And please make it a point. A Saturday na event 10 till 4 chair. Come pop in whenever you want. It's a free event. There's no registration required. But there's lots of lectures, exercises, videos that will be showing specifically on diabetes and how to minimize the effects of diabetes on your body. Yeah. So over to you, Prof. Labin.
Thank you, Tushar Bhai, for that reminder. And I will just add that actually age is just a number and it's not a barrier to actually doing things that are good for us. And on Saturday, of course, we're also going to be repeating our webinar that we did on diabetes with Professor Kamlesh Kunti. And I have to tell you, he has won an amazing award this week for his work in diabetes research. So really, well, very, very pleased and privileged to have him on that webinar, which we will be repeating and showing again on Saturday. So I want to thank everyone that has joined us today. Sailesh Bhai, thank you for all the time you've given this and really quite a fantastic, comprehensive presentation about not just exercise, but nutrition and how we could do this every day and build up into, you know, just what becomes a good habit for us. Hitesh Bhai and Nipa Ben, hats off. You've obviously been there, done it, are continuing to do it. And really well done for sharing that with us and inspiring our audience today. What I wanted to just talk about is our next session on the 25th of November. So we'll be back in 2 weeks' time, 8 o'clock. And our session then looks at skincare, skin diseases, and particularly looking at things like eczema and other skin conditions. I'm going to be joined by Dr. Namita Jasani, who's a trained dermatologist and based at Basildon and Thurrock University Hospital. We're also going to be joined by Dr. Pamela Kaushal, who is a psychiatrist at the Oxford Health NHS Foundation Trust. And the reason we're going to have Pamela Ben with us is because there are some skin conditions that actually cause a lot of mental stress for people. And she's going to be talking to us about how to manage that. So a really important subject. And I think a lot of people in our communities particularly have a lot of dry skin conditions, eczema. And so I think that session would be really helpful to a lot of people. Thank you, everyone, for joining us and continuing to join these webinars. Very much hope that you're finding them helpful. Beauty of digital technology. So they're all on YouTube, from the first one way back in March to this one today. And if you missed any of them, then do go and visit us at the Oshwal YouTube channel. And every single webinar is there. So thank you all very, very much. Jai Jinendra Pranam and Nutan Vaishnav Abhinandan to everybody. And let us hope that this one will be a really healthy year for all of us. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good night all.
Bye.